Welcome back to International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard, at the Gold Star Standard. Reactions, reviews, and news you can use. Once again, I am your host, International Yada, for the record saying the dollars, and check it out. We're going to talk about some terms, words, human trafficking terminology, or trafficking terminology. This is something I found on the World Wide Web. This is what they saying. The listeners are listening and the watchers are watching. Take heed. We're going to get straight off into this. Let's go.
Terminology of sex trafficking. Now, language is so powerful. Using appropriate terminology can further anti-trafficking advocacy. It can improve understanding of human trafficking.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. First thing she said, language is important. The terminology, the words that they use. Pay attention to what's going on out here. Don't throw your life away because you didn't know what was going on. You need to know. The worst thing you can do is be sitting in the cell and saying, why? Because you didn't have the right information. International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard, at the Gold Star Standard. We here to give you the right information. Let's go.
And the work people do to enforce the human trafficking laws, and it can help forge meaningful and respectful relationships with the victim. So when appropriate, we try to use person-centered language. So I'll go.
Person-centered language. What is person-centered language? Let's find out.
Over some of the terminology. So you may be familiar with the use of the term John. So that usually refers to a commercial sex buyer. And instead of using the word John, we like to use the word buyer, customer, commercial sex buyer.
So instead of the term John or trick, they like to use the term sex buyer or customer. Let's continue. Pay attention.
To denote someone who purchases sex from someone who advertised sex for sale. Now, you're also familiar with the term prostitute, and that is can be a very offensive and outdated language to use. So a commercial sex worker.
So they saying, what she's saying is the word prostitute is outdated. And what they want to do is start using the term commercial sex worker instead of prostitute, because they're saying the word prostitute is outdated.
What's this?
And these new terms that they use help seal the deal in the courtroom. Pay attention to what's going on out here.
Now, you're also familiar with the term prostitute, and that is can be a very offensive and outdated language to use. So a commercial sex worker is an individual who engages in commercial sex work by choice. A trafficked person, a trafficked victim, or a trafficked individual refers to a person who is compelled to engage in either commercial sex work or forced labor against them.
So what she's saying is a commercial sex worker, which is the same thing as a prostitute, is someone that chooses to live the lifestyle of a commercial sex worker or an adult consensual commercial sex worker. We went over that in past videos on exactly what an adult consensual sex worker is. It's what she's explaining here, that a prostitute is an adult consensual sex worker, not to be confused with a victim, someone who was forced into prostitution. Pay attention now. Take it back a little bit. Let's go.
who engages in commercial sex work by choice. A trafficked person, a trafficked victim, or a trafficked individual refers to a person who is compelled to engage in either commercial sex work or forced labor against their will. So we try to stay away from terms like prostitute. And same with the term.
Not sure if you're understanding what she's saying, but they try to stay away from terms like prostitute. She's saying that's a blanketed term. That's to cover a sex worker. But there's a difference between a consensual sex worker and someone that's being forced into prostitution. Okay? So instead of using the term prostitution or a prostitute, they want to break it down into categories. You understand what I'm saying, I'm hoping. Instead of the blanketed term prostitute, they're saying it's different types of prostitute. One that's choosing to be an adult sex worker and one that's being forced into sex work. Let's go.
And same with the term pimp. So the word pimp conjures up an image for many that reflects an incorrect public perception or stereotype. This corruption does not reflect the realities of trafficking or sex work, and therefore the colloquial meaning of pimp should be avoided when possible when talking about trafficking cases. So instead, the more appropriate way to refer to someone is as a trafficker or a defendant.
So instead of a pimp, she said they want to refer to pimps as traffickers or defendants. Pay attention now. They saying instead of the term pimp, they want pimps to be labeled as traffickers and or defendants. Really pay attention to this. This is a terminology that they want to use in the courtroom. Remember, you get charged with human trafficking and sex trafficking, they could give you up to life in prison. Pay attention to what's going on. Not that we done listened to this, I'm gonna put some terms up on the screen so you can see what they are, so you can read it yourself. Let's go.
Also, we should be sure to not refer to, I don't know if you've heard this term before, but what's referred to as a bottom. A bottom is colloquial term used for a woman in the trafficker's chain of command who is often responsible for recruitment and other tasks such as transportation, scheduling, etc. In many instances, the quote bottom was previously exploited by the trafficker and may become a collaborator due to self-preservation, coercion, trauma bonding, or because they directly benefit.
So instead of using the term bottom, you know what I'm saying, or the main girl, they said, no, this is a collaborator. She's collaborating with the defendant and or collaborating with the trafficker. So all in together now. Wow. Y'all paying attention to what's going on. Don't throw your life away because you said, I didn't know. Why? Don't throw your life away. Pay attention. You better know what you're doing out here. Or don't do it at all. Find you something legal to do. Let's go.
Instead of using the word bottom, which is an offensive and outdated colloquial term, we use enforcer or collaborator.
Enforcer or collaborator. Y'all paying attention? Okay, let's go.
Those are some of the examples of how we are trying to move away from those outdated and sometimes offensive terms to more person-centered language.
And that's what they mean by person-centered language when it comes to human trafficking or being labeled as a human trafficker in these cases. They throwing these cases around, and it's a lot of guys out here. It's getting a lot of time behind this. Pay attention. Okay, here are some of the terms. Here we go. Traffickers. Traffickers are people who exploit others for profit. They can be any demographic, individuals and groups, street gangs, and are organized crime, businesses, or contractors. Now, these are the terms that they're using. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Screenshot it, save it, study it. Let's continue. A pimp. A person who controls and financially benefits from the commercial sexual exploitation of another person. The relationship can be abusive and possessive, with the pimp using techniques such as psychological intimidation, manipulation, starvation, grape and or gang rape, beatings, confinements, threats, or violence toward the victim's family, forced drug use, and the shame from these acts to keep the sexually exploited person under control. This is what they saying a pimp is.
What?
I know a lot of y'all might say, that's not a pimp. That's not this or that's not that. I'm letting y'all know what they saying. Pay attention. Here we go. A pimp partner. What is a pimp partner? Two pimps who are friends and allow their victims to work together. Now, this is some information I found online. This is some information I found on the World Wide Web. And I just want to introduce it to you. Let's go. A quota. A set amount of money that a trafficking victim must make each night before they can come home. Quotas are often set between $300 and $2,000. I'm not sure where this information came from, but once again, this is information I found on the World Wide Web. If the victim returns without meeting the quota, she is typically beaten and sent back out to the street to earn the rest. This is what they're saying. Quotas vary according to geographical region, local events, etc. Let's move on. Serving a pimp. The actual phone call one pimp makes to another after taking his victim.
What?
This is excuse me. This is what they say a serving a pimp is. I'm gonna read this one more time. Y'all gotta excuse me for laughing. The actual phone call one pimp makes to another after taking his victim. I'm not sure what that is or what they talking about. Pimps taking victims. Maybe they don't know. They don't really know how to. I don't know. Let's continue. Squaring up, attempting to escape or exit prostitution. Once again, this is information I found on the World Wide Web, and we here at International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard, at the Gold Star Standard, bringing it to you live. Okay, let's go. We got a lot of these terms. Y'all bear with me. Let's move on to the next one. A stable. A group of victims who are under the control of a single pimp. automatic. Automatic status. This is what they say it is. A term denoted in the victim's automatic routine when her pimp is out of town, in jail, or otherwise not in direct contact with those he is prostitute. This is what they say automatic is. Okay. The bottom or the bottom bitch. A female appointed by the trafficker, pimp, to supervise the others and report rule violations, operating as his right hand. The bottom may help instruct victims, collecting money, book hotel rooms, post ads, or inflict punishment on other girls. This is what they saying a bottom or a bottom bitch is. I'm not sure. I'm just bringing it to you. Here we go in quotations. The bottom bitch is subjected to the most physical abuse and the one most likely to be killed by the pimp. She has the toughest job of them all.
What?
I'm not sure where they get this information, but like I said, this is stuff I found on the web, and these are terms that's being used in the courtroom. So y'all pay attention to this. I don't know why would a pimp would kill his bitch if that's how he get his money. I'm not sure where they get this stuff from. But like I said, once again, these are things I found on the World Wide Web. Here we go. Branding. A tattoo or carving on a victim that indicates ownership by a trafficker, a pimp, or a gang. Gang. They said a branding is something that the victim gets to indicate ownership by, I guess, but this is what they saying. Here we go, a brothel, aka a cat house or whorehouse.
Oh my God.
These establishments may be apartments, houses, trailers, or any facility where sex is sold on a premises. It could be in the rural area or nice neighborhood. That's what a brothel, cat house, or whorehouse is, according to them. Called a case, a term that refers to when a pimp or victim has been arrested and charged with a crime. They caught a case. Okay. We got a lot more of these terms. I'm not sure about a lot of this, but I'm going to bring it to you just like I get it. Let's move on to number 3. A circuit. A series of cities among which prostituted people are moved. One example would be the West Coast Circuit of San Diego, Las Vegas, Portland, and the cities in between. The term can also refer to a chain of states such as the Minnesota Pipeline, in which victims are moved through a series of locations from Minnesota to markets in New York. Pay attention. Please pay attention. Don't throw your life away. Here we go. A John, aka a buyer or a trick. An individual who pays for or trades something of value for sexual acts. That's what they say a John or a trick is. You know, we're just getting educated. That's what's going on over here. We're just getting educated on the human trafficking. What they say it is. Okay, moving on. A lot lizard, a derogatory term for a person who is being prostituted at truck stops. Okay. A fender lizard, a chick that would do anything to get on the back of a guy's motorcycle, a bike prostitute. Yeah, I'm getting educated on a lot of things. I never heard of this. A fender lizard. Okay, moving on. Madam, an older woman who manages a brothel, escort servers, or other prostitution establishments. She may also work alone or in collaboration with other traffickers. This is what they're saying a madam is. And this last one on page 4, coercion. Now this is the one right here that'll get you sent away for a long time. Force, fraud, or coercion. Threats or perceived threats of serious harm to or physical constraints against any person. A scheme intended to cause a person to believe that failure to perform will result in serious harm to or physical restraint against any person. This is what they saying coercion is. Okay, so pay attention. This is what they saying it is. Here we go. Commercial sex act. Any sex act on account of which anything of value is given to or received by any person. The track, aka the stroll or the blade, an area of town known for prostitution activity. This can be the area around a group of strip clubs and pornography stores or a particular stretch of street. Trade up, trade down. To move a victim like merchandise between pimps. A pimp may trade one girl for another, a trade with some exchange of money. Yeah, I'm learning a lot with this. I never heard of a lot of this. Trade ups and trade downs. Okay. Like getting educated. Here we go. Trick. Committing the act of prostitution or the person buying it. A victim is said to be turning a trick or with a trick. Hey man, this is what they talking about. Okay, moving on. Cousin-in-laws. Victims of pimp partners who work together. Okay, let's move on. Daddy. The term a pimp will often require his victim to call. Yeah, I'm learning a lot with this. Hope y'all out there learning something too. Never heard of a lot of this. Never heard these terms. Let's go. A date. The exchange when prostitution takes place or the activity of prostitution. A victim is said to be with a date or dating. Okay. I hope y'all picking this up though. I don't know what they talking about. Okay, here we go. An exit fee. The money a pimp will demand from a victim who is thinking about leaving or trying to leave. It will be an exorbitant sum to discourage her from leaving. Most pimps never let their victims leave freely. Head cut. A victim getting beaten down by their pimp. Human smuggling. The facilitation, transportation, attempted transportation, or illegal entry of a person or person across an international border in violation of one or more countries' laws, instantly or through deception, such as the use of fraudulent documents. They saying this is what human smuggling is. So human smuggling, I guess, is bringing a personal cross international line. Okay. In pocket, not paying any other pimp than the one controlled by the victim, not speaking to any other pimp. That's what in pocket is. Okay, the kiddie stroll, an area known for prostitution that features younger victims. Yeah, y'all better be careful out here, man. I don't know if they're just making stuff up, but yeah, be careful out here. Let's move on. Y'all see these terms and this terminology they're using. I don't care what you call it or what you say you got going on. This is what these people talking about. Let's go. A loose bitch. Pimps call a loose bitch a victim who keeps choosing different pimps. That's what they say. Turn out to be forced into prostitution or a person newly involved in prostitution. You see how it's confusing? You see the terms they using? Where it can go any way to get you caught up in something. They say a turnout is somebody that was forced into prostitution or somebody newly involved in prostitution. It says the same thing, even if the person newly involved was a willing participant. Y'all better pay attention to this. Here we go. Out of pocket. This phrase describing when a victim is not under control of a pimp but working on a pimp-controlled track, leaving her vulnerable to threats, harassment, and violence in order to make her choose a pimp. This may also refer to a victim who is disobeying the pimp's rules. Okay, family and folks. The term used to describe the other individuals under the control of the same pimp. He plays the role of father or daddy when the group fulfills the need for a family. A pimp circle, when several pimps encircle a victim to intimidate through verbal and physical threats in order to discipline the victim or force her to choose up. Y'all pay attention to these terms. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't get caught up in something that you could have avoided just by having some information on it. Is there anything else on this? Is that it? Here we go. Last but not least, a renegade. A person involved in a prostitution without a pimp. They say that's a renegade. A person involved in prostitution without a pimp. Look at that. Here we go. Choosing up. The process by which a different pimp takes ownership of a victim. Victims are instructed to keep their eyes on the ground at all times, according to traditional pimp rules. When a victim makes eye contact with another pimp, accidentally or on purpose, she is choosing him to be her pimp. So they saying, don't let it be no reckless eyeballing. That's what they saying. Don't be all that looking around. Hey, this is what these people saying. Y'all pay attention to what's going on out here. International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard. At the Gold Star Standard. Reactions, reviews, and news you can use. Once again, I am your host, International Yada, for the record saying the dollars. And we will see you on the next one. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. We out.